If you sat in even all the discomfort and said, but what's something I want right now that I could, I'm not being used right now to my highest potential. I want to buy a house.
I got the space and time.
I want to buy a house.
Right?
That's okay. You can underuse me. That's fine. Let me make most use of myself and go after it. And now I'm looking back at that and say, hey, Danielle, the way you went after that, and the way God allowed you to get there, and you saw the literal grace and all this, and you say, hey, look, that happened because you set a goal. You focused on it.
Applied
your resources, your time, your whatever.
And conviction. There we go.
Right? You believed that it was going to happen. You went after as if it was going to happen. You set time hacks and things like that and was working. Then that means that you need to apply that same type of thinking and same type of strategy to the other things you want to achieve.
And that is law of attraction 101. You see it. In order to believe it, you got to see it. That's what Karen Clark said. She said, in order to see it, you got to believe it.
Well, it's the truth. We talk about faith and all that, but faith is the belief in something that you cannot see, meaning that it's just something that is not physically you cannot see in front of you, but does not have anything to do with what you can see mentally.
Manifestation.
So before they could build like a Tesla or a flying car or anything, somebody had to see the idea. They had a thought, even if it's a thought, you heard something. And then you start to visualize that thing and you create an image. Just like we create an image of what a partnership should look like.
And that's why we have to be very careful about what we're thinking on a daily basis and setting our intentions to be, aligned with who we are as a person and our birthright. So you got to really focus in. And that's why I'm telling people, like 2020, yes, definitely. But 2021, carrying on, set your intentions. Make sure they're correct. Even when somebody does something jacked up to you, set your intentions, to wish them well so you can move on and learn from that situation. Don't have to repeat it again. That's the biggest thing. And that's why you have a lot of people going through these, not my monkey, not my circus cycle.
Ooh.
Because they don't want to accept the lesson learned from what's in front of them. They want to wallow in the hurt, the pain, the deceit, the treachery, the revenge, and then never move on. And so now we're having this repetition. And 2020 was horrible. Nah, see your potential in these negative and positive situations so that you can move on and get to the better side of the light. I said the light because everything is light, right? Can't have darkness without light. Can't have light without darkness. So
I don't know. I think there was dark. Remember, there was darkness before light.
There we go.
But you will not know something that's dark without light.
There we go. See, you can't have one without the other.
But it's not in the sense that you think, right?
Exactly.
There's nothing, so therefore nothing is everything. When you introduce something new, which can only be light, because adding more dark to dark doesn't create nothing new. But you got to add light to the dark to even see what was in the dark, what the dark is. So you can't even, the first step is not even you have to understand you're in the dark first.
And something said, and
let there be light. But even in the dark, you have sight.
Listen to her.
You have sight even in the dark, right? When you go to sleep, right, it's dark. Your eyes are closed, it's dark. But you dream.
These are things.
You dream, right? This is called Dream Deferred Podcast for a reason.
Come on now.
Everything is you got to even name things intentionally. Even so, when you don't show up or as consistently, not that you're not showing up authentically, if you don't show up as consistently as I was about to, but
that's how you pull back.
It almost came out of my mouth, but I knew that's not what I was trying to say.
Right.
You got to be careful of that too, but not as consistently or the way you thought it was going to roll out. Still give yourself gratitude because at least you started something, but name it intentionally so that, and keep calling it what it is you would like it to be or what you know it should be, so that you can approach it the right way.
And that's something I need to work on more. I think that's my commitment for 2021.
I probably do too.
Gratitude, saying, hey, look, Alex, you did a hell of a job. You've been through so much.
I think that's grace and appreciation for ourselves, which we're not generally taught. Yeah. But that's one thing I saw even in this process and this purchase was praising myself, self-praise.
Yeah, we don't celebrate ourselves enough. We rather look for it externally.
Yeah, and then you nobody got me. Bro, you are sad that people didn't come shouting with pom poms for you that don't even care when you show up for them.
not even that. Probably jealous that you actually showing up and showing out. So don't let how the saying go? Don't let the left hand know what the right hand's doing.
But I read a tweet today that said, "Unbothered people are the most bothered." And that's what I think.
I need you to lean into that.
I want you to go ahead first, but it just reminded me of that people that it's like it don't matter to them, and it's like, man, you're not mad or happy. I want some kind of the Aquarius in me. I want a reaction. Because the reaction tells you where you at.
Because that's denying your humanity. I was talking to a good friend of mine, and I was telling him like, hey, look, it's okay to be vulnerable. And I think that's now what people are forced to do because of COVID. Mm-hmm. They're forced to deal with themselves, be in the silence with their thoughts, and to become vulnerable and say, you know what I'm posting on social media is not all hanky dory. This situation is making me show up more authentically than I have before.
Because I ain't got nothing else left to give. Come on. When you all stripped down at the end of the day, what do you have to show for yourself?
Come on.
It's the difference between somebody who wants to go into a locker room naked and does not.
I have no problem with that, actually. Now that I think about it.
But it's not always about the physical thing. Yeah. It's both though. Yeah. When you really think about it, it's how I feel about myself and how myself presents. It's having a strong self-congruence. Now, I was in a clubhouse recently. I think I don't know if they used it properly, but in my psychology background, I know self-congruence basically is just how do you accurately view yourself.
And that view is distorted because of technology, because of globalization.
Well, a lot of different things,
scale, a lot of different things, right?
Yeah. But just in thinking, like, if you think, so for instance, I'm a great mom, and it's like, but you're not. You believe these things are true. Kids should do this, and this, but you don't actively do those things.
Right.
Then I would say your self-congruence is off. Me, it's like, I'm a stellar employee, but it's like, bro, you are always like barely making it in on time. It doesn't mean I think you're not totally stellar. Don't get me wrong.
And that you don't have the capacity.
But you're not showing up in your best self. And so that may be a way you have to push yourself. That's one of the ways I want to push myself this year is just showing up more being more punctual.
And I think 2020 did that.
It's been on my list for years though.
Well, I was telling you like what was on my list for years. Like this weight training thing and like gaining weight. Like I'm at these 5 extra pounds. Like y'all.
It's harder for men. Like especially if you've been a small guy. It's just harder to gain that weight, but let me tell you something. I used to want to gain weight, and now I can't lose it the same way. So be careful what you ask for.
It's the networking piece, though, right? So because I was intentional about making sure that was my goal, the universe aligned me with the right person at the right time.
That what would be available, the opportunities in front of you. But guess what? Did it make you do anything? No, we just put it in front of you. You could decide. You still always, at the end of the day, unlike a banana, unlike a dog, we have a choice. A banana can always only be a banana. Right. A dog can only always be a dog. Can only fuck the way a dog fucks. Can only bark. I can go bark. I can do different positions. I can decide. I can speed up or slow down my life by things I put in. That's the power I have. I have the freedom of will and choice every single second. Of whether
I'm going to stay aligned with my birthright or I'm not. Or I'm going to deviate and pivot. Am I going to have this crisis over here, or am I going to check in?
I think a lot of it is recognizing, ooh, I'm raising my voice right now. Ooh, they're raising their voice. Ooh, they're cussing. Okay, wait a minute. I decide I'm not having these types of
critical reflection.
I'm not having these kind of conversations. And I said that I don't want to speak this way to someone I love because I know from previous experiences that when I have submitted into that and decided to take the wide road, basically. Then the powers that I had, I gave it away.
Sacrificing, submission doesn't mean sacrificing yourself. Okay. Submission doesn't mean you have to sacrifice yourself, right? No, better yet, compromising means that you don't sacrifice yourself, right? To compromise means to come to a resolution.
And you know what I think that phrase means? You just kind of just gave me this, but it's not about compromising yourself.
Bingo.
So in not compromising myself, I don't have to sacrifice myself. Or
because you still want to be authentically you and show up. Yeah, that's why
you may have to compromise within a situation.
Yeah. There we go.
Just because you're yelling, I can choose not to yell.
But see that part, you have to step back and say, I can choose.
I have to choose that. Hey, you know what? I was ready. And also, y'all, People like to say, well, you were just yelling. You're right. But I realized I was yelling. And I'm saying, hey, we don't need to do this anymore.
Because I can change. I can evolve.
Else. And I don't have to. I'm not going to keep trying to. I can't make you do anything. But I can also. But I can control myself. And I can acknowledge. Because that's what you're responsible for. I can acknowledge what's going on in the situation. And I am allowed to say what I like and don't like about how we are communicating at this moment.
See there?
I can point out why this is not going to be effective. And that's what I can do.
And all of that leads to self-actualization and being in control of who you are. And Maya said it the best, right? Someone shows you who they are, believe it. Right? And so how can you believe it if you don't even believe, you don't even believe yourself and what you're saying and what you're attributing to the situation. And so, yeah, self-actualization. And I think that's what 2020 has taught us, is how to be comfortable in our own skin. I mean, there's some people that still can't sit home and just be present. They feel like they got to be out doing something. Distractions. I think that's what it is. Distraction. People rather be distracted rather than to live their truth.
Because why? The truth ain't used to having that much light put on it.
They don't want to be free, man. People want to be shackled.
In the dark. It's okay to exist in the dark, but you want me to shine? No, we don't need that much light on that issue. Because if it's in the dark, I don't have to tend to it because I want to avoid it. But if I put some light on the problem, now I can see that it's not really something being scary. It's actually a doofy looking possum
because I'm
on
trapped
my
in
fence.
The closet. That's what R. Kelly said, right?
My friend Nick, man, I can't even acknowledge that. Look, my friend Nick came over here to check on me. I don't know what I said to him one day, but he was concerned with how I sound. Something I communicated to him. And he had to pull up. He had to pull up all the way over here and come check on me. And he sat there and he told me he was, I was just kind of talking about things. I was talking in a very general place, and he said, is your thing like my possum problem? And he went into it and he said there was this thing, his dogs were going crazy. And this is cousin Nick. But he said his dogs would be going crazy. He's like, what's going on? He's going to check. And so he goes out and looks, and it's like this big, crazy, scary thing on the fence. And then when he shines a light on it, you just see a possum looking back at you, looking scared. So sometimes it's this thing that we are so afraid of, wanting to deal with, and the thing is scared of you. So you're letting this thing exist in your space, not taming it, not tending to it, not shining a light on it so you can deal with it. You'd rather avoid all of that and see what it actually may be. And it may be something scary, but you cannot work on it, work through it, expect for it to diminish in size, expect for it to go away and not be a stressor, expect for you to be able to relax or release some of that anxiety and fear. You would rather just keep stepping around it. And we do it. I mean, it's just like the laundry in my bed is probably going to get bypassed today at this hour. But it doesn't go by ignoring the problem does not remove the problem. You
know what came to mind when you gave that? The eyes are the windows to the soul. We don't want to look in the mirror and see who we truly are.
And guess what? We're scared of that beast. We're scared of that beast. Because that beast, though, would really be... The movie, what was the movie? Beauty and the Beast.
If
you think about it, that was a reflection story. I never thought about it, but...
I want
Beauty
everybody.
Was a beast, and the beast was beautiful.
And everybody needs to lean into that.
They exist together.
Needs to lean into that. I want you.
When they're apart and not existing together, guess what? You have a monster over here, and you have a weak, pretty component.
Bingo.
But if you put them together, now you got a team that's strong and can do things effectively. I can step into spaces that were already designed for me before I even existed. Roles that can't that. When you think, oh man, I got this idea, that thing was probably in the works eons ago. And this conversation was already set up to happen and this and that. But you were obedient. That's the only reason you're arriving at those instances. Now it's up to you to show up authentically, though.
How you going to lean into that? You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. People sometimes don't have the tools and the resources to even know how to do that. Like, can you really truly look yourself in the mirror? What did you say
earlier? It's called the law of attraction.
Law of attraction.
So if you're hearing this right now, okay, you're now presented with the information. You're presented with examples. You're presented with...
Because if you know better, you're going to what?
You should do better. Is my phrase. If I know better, I should do better.
You should.
Because I like that because it acknowledges that my freedom of choice, but it acknowledges that I may need I need some encouragement.
I love that. I love that.
Because we gotta we have to love ourselves from a place of, I think, of grace.
And I tell people all the time, matter of fact,